Hey guys, sorry for the inactivity over the past 2 weeks. I've had a ton of midterms, and it's been really hard to run the channel, even though I'm not really running it that much. But I'm getting videos out today, hopefully tomorrow, but no guarantees. But this one's gonna be just NFL landscape and Super Bowl preview. I'm gonna keep it under 15 minutes, but pretty much what's happened since my last video. Championship week happened, NFL honors happened, Super Bowl's in 2 days. So first, the championship weekend. I'm going to talk about that for 2 minutes, even though it's old news. The NFC Championship, Philadelphia obviously deserved to win that game, but I wish San Francisco got more of a fair shot because I do think with a healthy Brock Purdy, San Francisco could have won. San Francisco's rush offense just did not show up because the Eagles could key in on the quarterbacks, and when you don't have a quarterback, it's really, really hard to win, and they literally didn't have a quarterback, so it was really hard. Props to the Philadelphia defense, though, and props to the Philadelphia offense. I mean, like, they kept getting good field position because of San Francisco not being able to move the ball, but they still put up 31 points. Still ran the ball really well. Miles Sanders with one of the best games of the season so far, and when you look at Philadelphia, they're 15-1 when Jalen Hurts is the starter. That is an insane stat. It's been a while since I've seen a quarterback like that, and he's a great quarterback, and that's why he's an MVP finalist, and that's why the Eagles are here. And the Eagles have a strong offensive line, the best in the league, obviously. Number one passing defense in the league, too, and that's what makes the Super Bowl matchup so interesting, and we'll get to that for a second. I will criticize their road to the Super Bowl a little right now because they went against Daniel Jones, who's a mid-quarterback, but who does deserve another shot with the Giants. I've talked about that, though. And they went through a 49ers team that didn't have a quarterback, and now Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback they're going to face. But we'll get to that. NFC Championship was pretty simple. AFC Championship was the better of the two games, obviously. The two best teams in the AFC that I've been saying for a while, two of the best quarterbacks in the league, Mahomes and Burrow. Mahomes is his own tier. I think he showed that by playing on a high ankle sprain and outplaying Joe Burrow. And the Kansas City defense showed up, too. 2 interceptions on Burrow, even though one of them was a tip. And props to Cincinnati because they stayed in the game. I thought that once the Chiefs went up 13-3, Cincinnati was going to be left in the dust, honestly. I thought that it just wasn't a favorable matchup, but they kept it close. And Joseph Osai, of course, with the mistake, pinning Mahomes out of bounds. The one time he uses his legs, but that's what happens. Osai's a good player. He's going to get a lot of criticism. That's going to haunt him. Yeah, and Kansas City deserves to be here. They've been the best team in the AFC for a while. They've been the best team in the AFC this year. I don't think that's arguable. And that would make the Super Bowl so interesting. And I think when you look at Cincinnati and San Francisco, looking at the two losing teams for a second before I move on, starting with Cincinnati, you have the foundation around Joe Burrow. They're going to offer him a mega extension. I would not be surprised if he makes over $300 million this and now. Then they're going to have to extend Jamar Chase next year. They're going to have to give Joe Mixon money, and they already did. Their defense is much improved, so they'll see what it will do with them. Their question mark is T. Higgins, because T. Higgins a $100 billion wide receiver, but I don't know if they can afford him with the fact that they have to extend Burrow and Chase. So T. Higgins is going to be a name that's floating around. Chicago might get him. New York might get him. Not the Jets, the Giants. So we'll see. And then you look at San Francisco. Their one question mark is the quarterback position. They don't have a lot of draft picks, but everybody's coming back for them. And I think regardless where they go at quarterback, whether it's Brock Purdy, who should be back by training camp, or Trey Lance, who will get another shot, and they bring in a free agent too because they're going to have a deep quarterback room, so they don't have this happen again because they're going to be one of the favorites in the NFC. Kyle Shanahan's a good coach, and they'll thrive. I think Lance will win an open battle against Purdy because Lance is just more talented, but Brock Purdy deserves to go in. It deserves to be open competition. But the Niners are going to be the favorite in the NFC West again, and they are going to be back. Moving on. So the NFL Honors was last night, and so I'm just going to run through a few awards and what I think about them, and yeah, let's get it going. NFL Honors was great last night. Highly recommend watching. You see how uncasual the program is with me sipping my protein shake. But yeah, NFL Honors. So Offensive Player of the Year, Justin Jefferson. Expected. That's who I thought was going to win. That's who most people thought was going to win. Best wide receiver in football this year. Almost broke the yards record. Was like 100 yards away. He had an insane year. He's the best receiver in the league right now. You could argue Devontae Adams. I'm going to argue Justin Jefferson. And that's why I was really mad when the Vikings didn't throw to him in the second half against the Giants, and that's why they lost. Justin Jefferson, everybody knows what he brings to the table. He's a threat everywhere. As long as you get the ball in his hands, you have a chance to win a game. You have a really good chance to win the game. Defensive Player of the Year now, Nick Bosa. It was between Nick Bosa and Micah Parsons. I do think Bosa deserved it more. Bosa led the league in sacks and led the best defense in the league this year. The Niners were the best defense in the league. PFF says so. Most NFL fans says so, and a lot of that is because of Nick Bosa and what a terror he was. He will get a little criticism for the NFC Championship game, but Jalen Hurts is a really hard guy to tackle. So yeah, but Nick Bosa absolutely deserved it. Yeah, it's good to see him get an award, and he dealt with a lot of injuries in his career so far. The torn ACL, a few other things, but it's great to see Bosa get that award. Moving on, Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'm going to be happy talking about this. Garrett Wilson. I love Garrett Wilson, obviously, as a Jets fan. He's a threat in the vertical passing game. He's like Justin Jefferson, but I'm not calling him like Justin Jefferson. He has Justin Jefferson-type skills. He's not there yet, so don't get me confused. If you get the ball in Garrett Wilson's hands, he's going to make a play. And I think that showed once Breece Hall went down. I found it really cool how Garrett Wilson, and Jets fans will find this cool, and that's why I'm bringing it up. Garrett Wilson mentioned Breece Hall in some of his speeches because Breece Hall would have ran away with the award. I mean, he was the odds-on favorite going into the season, and then he tore his ACL in Week 7, but he was already a top 10 running back in the league. But you look at Wilson, even without a quarterback, he led the league in receiving yards as a rookie. Or he led the league rookies in receiving yards, and he tied it. He didn't do touchdowns. It was Christian Watson, and he led them in receptions. And you look at the other guys who were up there, and on a rookie wide receivers, Garrett Wilson was the best. And Chris Olave is going to be a good receiver. Christian Watson's going to be a good receiver. Jameson Williams, Traylon Burks might be a good receiver. There are some really good receivers in this guy, but Garrett Wilson was the best this year, and I don't think it's debatable. And out of the final three, Brock Purdy, Kenneth Walker, and Wilson, I didn't think Garrett Wilson was going to win. I thought Kenneth Walker was going to win. I thought it was going to go to running back because Kenneth Walker had a spectacular season. He's a top 15 running back in the league, and the Seahawks rushing attack was very, very good this year. But that's what happens, and I think that I'm very happy Garrett Wilson won. Both of them deserve the award. It really could have went either way. And now for one that really couldn't have went either way, Defensive Rookie of the Year, and obviously I'm happy talking about this. Sauce Gardner won it. He got 46 out of the 50 votes. Aiden Hutchinson got 1, I think, and Tariq Woolen got 3, or maybe it's the other way around. Sauce Gardner was the runaway with this. He was not only the best rookie corner in the league or the best rookie defensive player in the league, he's one of the best defensive players in the league. And I'll say that, and I'll say that confidently, not only as a Jet fan, but as an NFL fan. If you watched him, he locked down every wideout one this year. He let up 1 touchdown, which is in zone coverage against Amari Cooper, who's a top 15 wideout in the league. He clamped up Stephon Diggs twice. Besides that one play against the Bills, Sauce Gardner ran away with it. And he deserved it. He's one of the top corners in the league, so good for him. He deserves it, and he's the reason the Jets. He's one of the big reasons, along with Quinn Williams, C.J. Mosley, that the Jets defense went from 32nd a year ago to top 5 this year. So Sauce Gardner is one of the best corners in the league. We knew this. I'm very happy to talk about it. Sauce Gardner deserved this award, and a few more. So, and then I'm going to talk Super Bowl. Brian Dable, Coach of the Year. There are a lot of candidates for this. I think Doug Peterson was a candidate, but he was not great at the start of the year. Those Jaguars were 2-5. Brian Dable almost ran away with this award because of how great the Giants were, and he set a culture there, sort of like what Robert Saleh did. But Dable got his team to the playoffs, and he won a playoff game as a first-year head coach. And you look at Doug Peterson; he did that too. But this was Dable's first ever playoff game as a head coach, and he won in a hostile environment, and he came up late in the game, so he deserves it. Protein shake, very good. Yeah, and then Walter Payton Van of the Year, Dak Prescott. Obviously, a lot of people deserve this. NFL is all about community service, and I love it. Damar Hamlin, watching his speech was obviously very heartwarming and made me choke up. Last, Patrick Mahomes as MVP. Mahomes deserved MVP. It was between Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Jefferson. Justin Jefferson got on the list, and it's a quarterback award now, but Patrick Mahomes. If you look at all the quarterbacks in the league, and this sort of leads into my Super Bowl stuff, if you look at all the quarterbacks in the NFL, you have to put Patrick Mahomes on his own tier right now. He has 2 MVPs, and that doesn't set him apart, even though he's a 27-year-old with 2 MVPs. He has a ring. He has a chance to get another ring on Sunday. He's on his own tier. He's one of the most talented quarterbacks that we've ever seen play. I can even argue the most talented. He deserves this award. I think Jalen Hurts should have been second up there, and Joe Burrow should have been third. I don't know what the voting was like, honestly. I'm sure I could look it up, but I was just too lazy to. But Patrick Mahomes deserved this award, and hope maybe he could beat the MVP curse. MVPs are 0-9 in the Super Bowl in the past, or the last 9 MVPs are 0-9 in the Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens with Mahomes. but he deserved this award, and it's justified that he won it. All the awards happened as I expected, besides, like, I thought Kenneth Walker was going to win, but I'm very happy that Gary Wilson won. Okay, cool. I'm at the 10-minute mark. Let's do Super Bowl preview very fast. Yeah, so Super Bowl, Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs in Phoenix, Arizona, or Glendale, Arizona, because that's where State Farm Stadium is. It's going to be a really good game. Here's a few things that I'm looking for. Two high-flying offenses. Eagles, number one pass offense in the league. I meant number one rush offense in the league. We're top 5. Miles Sanders has become a very respectable running back, and yeah, that's pretty respectable. I mean, like, 2 touchdowns in the NFC Championship game, and that Eagles offensive line is the best in the league. And they're facing a Kansas City defense that has not been good in the past, has been much better on their run. Their front 7 has been much improved in the second half of the season, so that's an interesting matchup. Second, number one pass offense versus number one pass defense. Kansas City, number one pass offense. And then oh my god, Eagles. God, stick with me. Number one pass defense. You've seen what the Eagles have done to a quarterback, but this is the best quarterback they played all season, and that happens to anybody who plays the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback they played all season, so I mean, like, it's pretty obvious, but that's obviously an interesting matchup. And then you look at all these guys, and there's so much talent on both sides, and I'm just very looking forward to it. And let's just run down these Super Bowl teams right now. Quarterback position, 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league. Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback in the league right now because of what he brings to the table, and I'm not afraid to say that. Both in the passing game and the rushing game, 15-1 with him as a starter. Philadelphia, he's a difference maker, and obviously Patrick Mahomes is a difference maker. I talked about that. Running back, I'll give the edge to Philadelphia because no matter who you put back there, whether it's Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell, who had a great game against the Giants in the divisional round, that offensive line carries them. Isaiah Pacheco is a rising star in this league, but I got to go with Philadelphia. They're known for their rushing offense. Wide receivers, again, Philadelphia. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are one of the best 1-2s in the league. You could argue Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. You could argue Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. But A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith have to be up there. Devontae Smith, one of the most critical catches in the NFC Championship, even though it wasn't a catch. But Nick Sirianni rushed him to the line, and they got it off, and props to him. And then you look at Kansas City. Mahomes was almost throwing the backups in the NFC and in the AFC divisional round and championship. But Juju Smith-Schuster is a contributor. Hopefully, McCole Hardman's healthy, and then Marcos Valdes-Scantling might have a game. They have some young receivers, so we'll see. It makes a difference, but you got to give the edge to Philadelphia. And then this is where the passing game becomes important. Tight end, obviously Kansas City. Travis Kelce is one of the best tight ends not only in the league but ever. He's reaching that stance. He is one of the best receiving targets in the league. He's a threat. The Eagles are going to struggle with him. Any team's going to struggle with him. And if Travis Kelce has a game, the Chiefs might win. Probably will win because that connection is one of the top in the league. Great. And then offensive line, Eagles. Looking at the defensive line, I got to go with the Eagles right now. The Haason Reddick has been such a great addition for them. He's one of the league leaders in sacks. He was one of the top guys for Defensive Player of the Year. His hit on Brock Purdy totally changed the game, obviously for injury reasons, but just that fumble too. I think the Eagles would have scored on that drive. So I got to give it to the Eagles, but the inside, it's Chris Jones on the Chiefs. He's an X factor, obviously. So if he plays well, the Chiefs have a chance. And of course, they have Frank Clark. Frank Clark needs to play comparable to Haason Reddick because Haason Reddick's going to get his chances. So if the Chiefs want to get to Jalen Hurts, they can't only rely on Chris Jones to stop the run. They need Frank Clark to get there. Now, linebackers. I'm going to go with Kansas City right now. Both teams don't have the strongest linebacking cores, and take that with a grain of salt because they're still both top 15 in the league. But that's both of the weaknesses in this defense. It's more of a weakness on the Philadelphia defense. That's why whichever linebacker's covering Travis Kelce for the game is going to have a tough time, and that's why I think the Eagles are going to run a lot of zone with their number one pass defense. When you look at Kansas City, their linebackers have been pretty good this year. And then you look at, so I'm going to give the edge to Kansas City there, and then the pass defense, obviously, it's Philadelphia who gets it. Kansas City has led up the most passing touchdowns in the league this year, I'm pretty sure, and Philadelphia is the number one pass defense in the league, but they're playing Patrick Mahomes, and so we'll see. It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a good game. Here's what I think is what's going to happen. 1, over. I know the last 4 games have been the under of the Super Bowl. I think the over. I usually, when a number one passing offense plays a number one passing defense, the number one passing offense wins. And I think that Patrick Mahomes, I said it, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback the Eagles have faced all year. And I think that Jalen Hurts is not the best quarterback the Chiefs have faced all year, but It's the best rushing offense they've faced all year. I think this is going to be a game that's in the 30s, and I think that if you are a sports bettor, you should bet the over. Next, who I think is going to win the game. I've been going on this a while, and I want Kansas City to win, honestly. I want Patrick Mahomes to get his second ring. I think the Eagles are going to win. I think that Philadelphia, when you look at them, they have a better running attack. They have a better defense. And Patrick Mahomes might be playing hurt, but I don't want to take that into account because you saw what he did against the Bengals. I think the Eagles are going to run the ball, give Kansas City difficulties, and Jalen Hurts is really hard to stop. And when they are 15-1 as a starter, and the Eagles are a more complete team than Kansas City, take that with a grain of salt. I think the Eagles are going to win. I think the Eagles are going to win a very, very close game. I think they're going to win 38-34. I think it's going to be an over, and I think that Philadelphia is going to get their second Super Bowl in 5 years. These Philly fans, with between the Eagles, the Phillies, the Union, not so much the Flyers or the Sixers, but maybe the Sixers. The Eagles are a very good team, and the Eagles have been one of the best teams in football from the start. There were questions about both the Eagles and Kansas City, but they both showed that these are the two best teams in football. I do think Philadelphia wins the game, and yeah, we will see. But there's my NFL round scope and my Super Bowl preview very fast. I should get another video up tomorrow on the NBA trade deadline. And I need to mention the Rangers got Vladimir Tarasenko. He plays his first game for the Rangers soon. But I'll get that close to the NHL trade deadline. NBA should come tomorrow. But Super Bowl prediction, Eagles 38, Chiefs 34. Hopefully I'm wrong. Great to be back, guys. I should get more content on the way.